So I'm going to try to give you all kind of a summation of where we are with our newer projects and some that are actually going to be coming up here in the next year or so. Well, has anybody noticed that we're building this beautiful building? Where's on the right as you come in? Anybody miss it? Yeah. I had lunch with a guy yesterday, and he asked me what we were doing down here. I said, well, did you see the big building? He said, what building? And I said, you need to go to your eye doctor right now. Yeah. But, you know, the Meadow active lifestyle community is going to be, you know, with Miralee, let me put it this way. Miralee was just an awesome, awesome building, and it's being operated like it's brand new every single day. And the residents there are absolutely thrilled to death to be there. But when we finish this new Meadow next year in June, it is going to be something to behold. You know, we are right now working with an artist to design a chandelier that will hang in the lobby of the 35-foot ceilings that we have in that area. But there are so many things that I could go through, but it's going to be a spectacular building, and our sales and marketing team has done an awesome job in making things happen, you know, and getting a lot of residents there. And you know, we hear from, you know, occasionally from at the corporate office level, we hear from some of the depositors that they're excited about moving in. And I think the experience that we had with Miralee will be a similar experience on move-in that we're going to have at the Meadow. So, and that should be finished on or about the 1st of June next year. Although I'm pushing the construction folks to get finished by the 1st of May. That's just my thing, you know. They say June, I say May. They say July, I say June. I say May, I say April. Right. You know, but I expect it to be done now. You know, so in addition to that, of course, you know, Grove Point, which is our first entree on this campus into assisted living, the social model. It's going to, our plan is that while it may be finished at exactly the same time, we're not planning on opening it for a month after. So that way that, you know, we have plenty of time to devote to the new residents moving into the Meadow, and then having the opportunity to really do something with the Grove Point development. The interesting thing is that we've not said a word publicly about what's going in that building. And Kara, how many people have we already had contact from who's interested in moving into assisted living?
10.
Huh? She has 10 people that have already inquired about and interested in moving into the assisted living. So we think it's going to be a successful venture. And it will probably, as soon as we start filling it up, we'll probably decide to get ready to begin construction on the new addition to it, because we have 24 more apartments that we will add to that building. So one of the other things that we're doing on this campus is that we are seriously looking at expanding Sproutlings. You know, it's just been open for, what, 3 or 4 years now? And the demand for Sproutling services is really, you know, really outstanding. And we think that we can expand it by another 15 to 20 children by putting a new addition on it off to the right of the front. Now, it's not absolute. In addition to that, I don't know how many of you all know that the intention when we built that building a few years ago was that the corporate office would be moved from the space to where we are over to the 2nd floor. And so we're going to expand the corporate office as well if we do the Sproutlings addition, because we've already figured out that we've already got the corporate office filled. And so we had to decide, well, this makes sense. We'll go ahead and add all this additional space to it as well, so that we can move Todd all the way to the back of the room.
I'm staying where I'm at.
And not on this campus, but it'd hopefully be of interest to you all. We are in the throes of working on the beginnings of development on our Shelbyville campus. Right now, the current plan is that we will expand, well, actually, we'll build a new building, a building for the care center out there, and we will convert all the rooms that are, in addition to the new, in the existing building, we'll convert everything to private rooms with a private bath. In addition to that, we are going to get into the independent living market. You hear me say the market? We'll be getting into the independent living market in a little bit different way. And we'll be building probably some single-story modular type housing, not modular, it's not like, but kind of fourplex deals. And as we sell upwards of a dozen, we'll plan on a dozen to begin with. And if the market is strong enough, then we'll continue to build more of those buildings that way. And we're going to expand the assisted living that they have out there. So, we're also at the same time, well, this doesn't have necessarily to do with construction, we're in the throes of being annexed by the city of Shelbyville by our own desire, actually. And so, you know, we've got a lot of good things on our plate. In addition to that, which I'm going to let Jay Scott talk about, he has several things that we're also involved in on this campus relative to renovations. So Jay Scott, you want to go ahead and take it over?
Yep.
And if you have questions about it, when Jay Scott gets finished, you'll probably have more questions for him. But when he's finished, well, then we'll be open to answering any questions.
Maybe more questions about modular.
That was a bad word. I mean, I'm sort of like Trump. Sometimes I say things I really don't want.
With Grove Point coming on board, we're going to repurpose the pillars. The pillars will become an all memory care community, and we will be rebranding the pillars. So it will no longer be called the pillars. We've got a couple of names that Nicole and her staff are working through, but something that's more in line with memory care. We have also completed 2/3 of the original Sally's Garden renovation. Joey and his crew are going to start on the last hallway. It's the hallway in between on Monday, and it should take about 10 days to complete that renovation. And then once that's complete, we'll have all phase 1, phase 2, and then we're going to start on phase 3. Phase 3 will continue to be, it'll be mild to moderate for memory care, and where Sally's 2 and 3 will be more severe cases of memory care. But it will be the first hallway. When you walk in, there will be a lobby area with a receptionist in that entryway. And then there'll be 2 doors where you can go into 2 different households, similar to something at Swope. And then if you go into the right, it'll consist of some common areas. A lot of that care base will stay where it is, but the corner where the break room and all that, and a couple of rooms are going to come out, will have more common space for the residents in there. And then there'll be the hallway down to the right, and the hallway that goes back to the dining room will consist of Sally's 3. So the remaining 3 hallways in the pillars will be for skilled nursing. We're going to take all of the residents who are currently in the Judy house and move them into this new household, which is yet to be named. All of these, we have some names internally that we're working through right now. But we'll take all of the folks out of the Judy house, and they'll move into those 3 hallways in the pillars. So what will happen with the Judy house then, since that's kind of like my favorite house? It's Marcia's second, by the way. The Judy house will be, we'll renovate that with some new paint, some new wall coverings and carpet and that type of thing. And it'll be for short-term rehab. So we're going to put another 24 short-term rehab beds into play at the Samsville Care Center. With the Village Life Plan, we started the year, I think, with 7. And Rose and Casey have done a spectacular job. In fact, Rose just sold one sight unseen We don't even have the drawings yet on it. And a fellow walked in and said, I want this one. So they have really been doing a great job. For those of you that are not familiar with the life plan, you know, we have income-based and market rate in the villages. The villages are all the buildings, the older buildings around the perimeter. So we have income-based and market rate, and then we have Merrily in the Meadow, but we weren't serving anybody kind of in that middle area. So the life plan is like a Merrily plan light, a light plan for them. And it has gone over wonderfully. We have 11 that are either occupied or are going to close here before the end of the year. And we hope to have maybe upwards of 12 or 13 maybe. She shakes her head, yes, I love that. Another important event with all this construction and renovation going on, the Masonic thing is having the Cornerstone Lane. So October the 15th, which is a Sunday, at 10:30 on the Grove Point site, and the only reason we're doing it back there is because the construction will be further along. They'll have the paving down. So in years past when we did Merrily and when we had done Swope, we had to bring in gravel and mulch and fight the weather, and this won't be as weather dependent. We'll have some tents back there. But
All right, now we're going to go ahead and take some questions.
before we do that, something that Gary and I forgot to mention was later today at 11 o'clock, we're meeting with Donna and QK4, who's helped do all of the landscape architecture plans. If you're like me, I am always very scared about folks walking on our roads. I have a fear, as many walkers as we have, and as bad as I drive, about an accident or something happening. And we're going to develop a walking path around campus. And at 11 o'clock today, we're going to review some of the sidewalks that we already have on campus and how we can connect those with a 6-foot wide walking path and incorporate the two. And hopefully, when this is done, which hopefully will be done at the same time or shortly after the opening of Grove Point in the Meadow, have this walking path and get everybody off the streets, especially the Sprouts kids. Those are the ones that scare me the most. Those wide buggies. And then also, shortly after the completion of the Meadow, we're gonna have a new fence. You know, they took down the chain link fence on the Meadow side, and we are gonna be putting up 7-foot brick pillars with black aluminum fencing in between on both sides. And it's gonna be a lot closer to the railroad tracks. Back at Merrily, in the back corner, you notice that fence is a whole lot closer to the railroad tracks than it was everywhere else on the front side along Frankfurt Avenue. We're gonna move it up to that same distance, so we're gonna pick up and reclaim some of our own property and then tie that back into the front entrance. Part of the Meadow Project 2 is coming up with new security headquarters up front. So anybody who's visiting the campus will have to stop. We'll have another opportunity for everybody to use their name badge, and when you come through the gate, there'll be one that will be unattended. You just swipe your card, but we will have 24/7 coverage up front with security checking people in and out. So you could be relieved, Dan. All right, questions? Hank?
Hey, Cruz is gonna give an update. Sorry, one more.
Okay. Let me take Hank's question real quick.
I know when construction gets all done, you're talking about repaving.
Yes.
Just a suggestion.
Yep.
At all your little campus pickups,
Yep.
let's widen the road there, because there's always people going off in the grass. And always, just make a little pull around the
Yeah.
for the campus bus.
That's a good idea.
And also, you were talking about expanding. How about expanding the rights to fish at these little ponds and stuff at Taylor Mill to the employees, not just the residents?
Can we fish up there in that pond, back pond?
I've fished.
We ain't put the
I've
signs
fished
up
with you
yet.
before, and I feel real comfortable for the fish.
I knew I shouldn't have said that.
You want to drive to Northern Kentucky to fish?
Hell yeah, I'll drive to Northern
I
Kentucky.
think
It's crazy.
it's Old Farm Pond.
I'll go over in the evening,
It's
I'll
not
fish,
an
and I'll be
old
in
farm
this
pond, it's one that we
frog
created.
meeting.
We're thinking of gigging it too.
Well, Hank would probably want to fish in the Maryland water feature next to
Any other
Take 'em home.
questions?
Take 'em home.
Besides Hank. Hank's done.
Update on the clinic.
Do what?
Update on the clinic.
Well, we have for 2 years now been working on establishing a medical clinic on the campus, which will include, it's been primarily a aging adult clinic. And we have at least a commitment from the University of Louisville Geriatric and Family Medicine School to actually staff it. Our intent is to have a podiatrist there, chiropractor, someone who can do counseling, behavioral health, optometry, audiology, and then we're going to get a barber for Jay Scott. But
Look at y'all are in agreement. Why do you think I need a barber?
Your eyebrows.
But anyhow, we are right now getting it priced to go ahead and start the build out of the clinic in the space that it is, where the old office area was for the healthcare part. And we have attempted with several different parties to establish a joint venture with them. Unfortunately, we don't have I can't give you necessarily good news that we do have a partner yet, but our intentions are still to open a clinic. That's what we'd like to do. And we are working on some other alternatives even within that realm. So,
Jennifer can't hear you back.
Jennifer can't hear me? She must have once stole my hearing aids. Did you hear that? No. Anyhow, so we are still actively working on the clinic. We won't give up, I promise.
You have any questions? Thank you all for everything that you do.